appeared. There it is. Oh, there I am. Hey, I'm Michael, or as the grandkids call me, Roo. It's Saturday morning, and my brain is just fast today. I am fast brain, certainly today. Got a list a mile long. Don't know if I'll get through all of it, but thank you for joining me on Saturday morning. I pray you got a cup of something. I'm having started out with a cup of coffee early, but because I paint with tea, I always keep a little tea on the deck. So this is Make Mine a Builders. And I got something to show you about those guys too. Anyway, thank you for jumping on so early this morning. Thank you for being here on Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, happy all weekend. This is sort of the start of some of your weekends because I am a self-employed marketing guy, storyteller, producer, writer, videographer, painter. Sometimes every day is a weekend for me. You know, I just don't know what it's going to hold. I just make a list and try to get through it. So that's why I have journals and books. And anyway, got a full day. No, I don't have a full day. I got about an hour with you guys, don't I? So let's go. I got a ton of stuff here. Let me show you what the desk looks like a little bit this morning. Then I'm going to say hello. We'll go back and forth here a little time. I don't know why all these pieces are jumping around on my desktop this morning. Give me just a second here. Here we go. There's nobody even in here. I just found that sound effect and it made me laugh this morning. I hit that button and said, what does this button do? Yeah, you know, I love it when I crack myself up because nobody else is here to laugh, so I just create my own audience. But thank you guys for jumping on. My gosh, there's so many of you already. Let me just say hello here. So Donna Barton, you jumped on first. Thank you. You're a good artist, and I love to see your work. Laurie, thank you from Attica, New York. I always love that whole top of the morning to you and what you type out. Renee, thank you. Patricia, Suzanne Harris, thank you. Trish Brown, Irma, always good morning to you. Joy, thank you. Judy, Mickey, Petra, whoa, the Rock is here with us this morning. Virginia, McClure, Lori, Stanley, Henderson. Man, if I were in school and I had to write that out every day, I just would still be in the class while kids were leaving. Hey, but that's awesome. Glad you're here. Bobby King, thank you for being here. Martina, Jackie, Wallace, Julie, Waldner. Is it Waldner? Thank you. I got your note. I appreciate it. And sorry about missing an email from you and just leaving a painting covered. And there it was. Found it yesterday. Dug through, cleaned out the art bar. One of these days, I promise, I'm going to remove myself from this backdrop here. Look at this. It's a little sunny outside. Can you see that? That's kind of cool. See, I am fast brain, huh? I'm going to actually take all this equipment and move it downstairs when I don't have anything else to do, and I'm going to paint from the art bar one day. And there's 100 wine stems there. And a lot of them have been gifted to us, and Carol's painting Tabaret is there. Tabaret, not a cabaret, Tabaret. She can dance, I can't. The Tabaret is just a cabinet or rolling cabinet, or in this case, it's an antique piece of furniture that holds paint and supplies and paper. It's really awesome. Her easel sits there. And so I'll go down and just do a little tour around the art bar one day. It's where I painted for 9 or 10 years. And then when I started doing this show during COVID, I just moved into my office because of so much gear. And I use a lot of this gear for my production work already. So Diana, Chris Whitaker, thank you, or Whitaker, I love it. I love that name. It comes. Fern, thank you for being here. And Bruce, thank you. Yvonne, Margaret, my singer, love it. Carol Hodges, Terry Tardy from Coos Bay, Oregon. Glad you're always here. And Westra, love some art that I've seen from you. Shanlin, Judy, love it. Patricia Brooks, thank you, my friend. Got a little something I'll tell you about Patricia a little later here. Teresa, Randall Craven Taylor, golly, look at you guys jump on here. Dolores Lee Packus, good morning to you. Hey, man, Charlie Mackesy book, is it not unbelievable? Oh, my goodness. Brother, had you and I written that book back when we were sharp and thinking quickly, huh? We'd be owning our own island today. But not even that. Charlie's concept and who he is. I hope you guys really do look for the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. If you haven't heard me talk about it last show, I'm telling you, it's the most simple, beautiful story that you'll want to purchase several and give them away. That's how awesome it is. And I encourage you to find a place in the book to write in there to some special friends who you give it to. It'll be worth it. It's a Christmas gift that just keeps on. Hey, Charlie Mackesy, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. Beautifully done. Find him on YouTube and look him up. You know, he doesn't know me from Adam's House Cat, and he doesn't even know I'm talking about him, and that's what makes it even better. Somebody out there is talking about him, and that's fantastic. So I'm sharing his work with you. Fabulous, fabulous. Janice Scott, thank you. Barbara, Karen Bender, Lisa Bryant, good night. Brenda Dow. Brenda, you got a good sense of humor. I've seen some of your art. Marion Jones, 40 degrees in New Jersey this morning. Right, and that's why I'm in Charlotte. It's going to be 66 here today and perfect. Time to put the top down on the pickup truck. Oh, yeah. I got a torch. I can do it. Okay. Wow, the names go on and on and on and on. You need a big painted roo behind you, Jennifer Parker says. Now, Jennifer, now there's a bad idea. You shouldn't work with dogs and little children or better paintings. Of course, if somebody else painted, but that's a good idea. But probably won't do it because then I'd have to move it all the time. So this wall behind me, literally, it weighs about 2 pounds, and it's not even a wall. It's a photographic backdrop that just moves out of the way because behind me is a Mac computer with hard drives and my editing. I stand up and I edit. So, and I've got I got a lot of editing to do. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a second and just get to work here this morning because I got a lot to cover. But thank you guys for being here today. I've got something going on the desk. Let me just show it to you real fast here. Take a look at this. You might see a start of a roo in front of an anvil with a little blacksmith apron on. That's a twist. And then all these roos are working on something, and it's a deadline. This has to be finished very rapidly. In fact, so rapidly that I'm going to spend 2 minutes on it right here on the show, just showing you what happens when creativity strikes and you don't know what you're going to do or where you're going. I penciled this out right before the show started. And so let me see if I can find some music here this morning. It's supposed to be playing, but it just quit on me. That's what happens when you have oh yeah, it's a different phone format. There we go. Oh, sorry about that. That was my hand I hit. Oh. See, you just jump around and move stuff. It's Saturday. Okay, so this is a belt sanding concept here. I was a knife maker for a while in my blacksmith shop. And in fact, I started blacksmithing to make knives. And then I realized I could forge a knife in about a half hour. And then I had to spend 8 to 10 hours finish it. And I went, I'm too fast brain for that. I want the next project. That's why I don't paint oil. Why I paint watercolor. I met an artist last night. I'll have to tell you about meeting him. Nice guy. An Irishman in a restaurant. And all right. So anyway, I don't have time to do this now but it's got a deadline today. They called me and said, and I lost some emails this week. That's why I apologize to some of you where I don't know where it happened, but I got a note from Grit yesterday, which I just finished a painting from them. But then, no, I'd done that a couple months ago when the magazine came out. They said, your deadline is due for December. And I went, what? And so I said, adrenaline just struck. And so I've got the idea, but it's coming together in a little scene here of, I can't even tell you what it is right now because I don't want to. So let's paint something creative and fun. Here we go. All right, let me get on the, let me change my shot. There it is right there. Now I can see you, you can see me. And let's do a shot with this before I have a little more tea. And while this ink dries, I'll show you. I'm going to do a little bit of an ink painting today because I'm always working with ink pens, and I find it fascinating that some of you have just said, gosh, I didn't know you could use pens in watercolor. I thought you had to use pencils and erasers and masking fluid and all. You can create with what you got, okay? You can just do it. Whatever you have, use it and be creative. That's just what you have. And so for me, I like pens. I've always liked pens. I like the fact that they're kind of bold. They make a statement. And so for me, I have several laying here. And I saw a question about this pen. These are inner gel. They're made by Pentel. I sent them a note about you guys and said, would you tell me where to get these in a good place without running all over creation? Get 07s over here and 8s over there and 5 somewhere, not 8s, but 5s and 7s somewhere else. By the way, if you're going to buy this pen and you're going to use it for art, listen to this, write this down, buy the needle point. Think of quilting. Buy the needle point. Don't buy the ball point. It's big. It'd be like quilting with a ball bat. You're not going to get very far, okay? And nobody wants to sleep in a quilt that just has 2 stitches in it. Okay, sleep under a quilt. So this is a needle tip. So make sure before you buy it on the package. Here's a package right there. Look at that. Look at this. Needle tip. It says scratch free, but I don't know what they're talking about. Medium is needle tip. Make sure it's an 07 or an 05 needle tip. I'm going to say that one more. Now I'm going to say it one more time. Needle tip, one more. Needle tip. Okay. People say, gosh, I got a pen and it writes like a ball bat with ink in it. And that's if you get the ball point. It's a big old pen and the ink will just bleed all over your page. Some of you are using the 3. Some of you are using the 5. Some of you are using the 7. The 3 used to be gray. And that's before they just started mixing their colors all up and just doing a little bit of everything. And so I sent them a letter and said, could you have mercy on us that use your pens and kind of be consistent? Because it's hard for an artist to just grab one. You're killing us out here for the sake of aesthetics in your office. Pfft. Okay, I don't think they're going to respond to the pfft I put in the letter. But there you have it. All right, hey, let's do something here. Sometimes I paint with liquid watercolor. Sometimes I paint with regular watercolors. Today, I've got some ink because people have written me and said, have you ever tried ink? And I go, yeah, I just told you a whole lot about ink pens, but what about ink? Well, you've seen me paint with Chinese ink, just black ink. Drop it on there, hit it with a little water. So what I thought I'd do is just sketch a painting here with let's see, a 5, so kind of thin. Just do a quick little, let's do it this way. Quick little rooster. Here, put some comb here like this. Maybe his beak coming out like this. Big old rooster here. He's short in the chest here, kind of like so. And then come back. I think you can see where I'm headed with this. I'm going to let the tail just sort of roll over here like this. I like to come up and go through with one so it hangs down on the back side. Maybe a little bit here. Fluffy bottom. You thought I was going to say butt, and I didn't. It's a family show. All right, and so I'm just going to go in here like this. And then maybe we'll put his other leg coming down over here on the back side. A little smaller foot because this one's foreshortened. Come in right here with a little behind. Put his eye right there. That's not a bad little roof or a quick 27-second sketch. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this does. Now, because this foot is up here, he's not standing on anything. The ground is going this way. See that? So that's the perspective on this one. The composition is pretty much in the middle. This is a 9x12, 140-pound piece of paper. If you're not experimenting and messing things up and failing some, you're probably not learning too much. So just get with it and fail some. If every painting that you do has to be pristine and perfect, you're probably not going to finish a lot, and you're probably not going to sell any of your work because you're going to be so tight and bound by, oh, here's what I never like to do. I never like to buy an artist painting when the artist says, you see that right there? I wish I'd have made that just a little lighter. I wish I hadn't used that blue there. And I'm going like, seriously, you're apologizing for the painting that I'm about to pay you for? What's wrong with you? Just say, I love it like this. I made it like this. To me, this is how I envisioned it because my uncle was a plumber. This is a water valve. Don't get those two confused, right? And I think I told you why I painted this. It says, happy birthday. I did this for my friend. I gave him the bigger one. Happy birthday. Keep having them. It's the main thing. See, it's a pun. And you know what? He stuck it on his wall. Chink. And there it is right there. So my point is, don't apologize for your work or get to the point where you feel so confident in the way you left it. You love it like that. You did it on purpose. If you didn't do it on purpose and it winds up being better than you could have done, take credit for that too. It's just paint. It's just paper. It's just watercolor. In this case, it's ink. So here I go. So I'm going to grab a sip of tea, make mine a Builders. I got to do a thing on Builders here this morning. That'll be fun. Builders, I got a box from British Wholesale in Ink. Comes through Britain. It goes across the country into California. Then it gets shipped back to me. I could shorten that if they just shipped it to me. I'm on the East Coast. They sent me some pretty cool stuff. I opened a box this week unexpectedly. Well, we've been talking, because I said, Builders. I drink Builders tea. It's not a sponsor yet. They sent me something fun. Here, let me show you. They sent me this bag. Take a look. Take a look at this bag. They sent me this bag. Builders. Make mine a Builders. Caution. Dangerously strong British tea. And inside the bag, they sent me a hat. Okay. Now, what they don't know about me is that I don't wear it. This is a cap. There's a difference between a hat and a cap. This is a cap. There it is right there. Let me hold it up this way. You can see it. That is cool, though. That's their logo that's on the box. They sent me a box of tea. Haven't even unwrapped it yet. There it is right there. These are round tea bags. It's always fun to unroll. There's a statement that I've loved for years. Britain wasn't built on chamomile. And then they sent me, look at the back of the hat. It says, Britain wasn't built on chamomile. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to give this hat away. I'll have to check with my boys first because they're hat wearers, but I think I'm going to give it away. And then what I've done in here is I just put this to use already, this big bag, and I've got about, there must be 25 or 30 paintings in here. We'll go through those later. And I think what I'm going to do is just run a little sale and sell those things for like $10 a piece, including postage, and get them out of here. And the reason is because those are paintings I've either done as demos or on the show, or someone wanted to buy and didn't buy or changed their mind. So we'll have a clear off the art bar sale soon. All right, I'm throwing you a curveball. Here it is, coming to you right now. You've seen these brushes. These are my bamboo brushes. You've seen these. These are my regular. Time to call Cheap Joe's. I'll call them later. Actually, I had a conversation with them this week, so I'll call them. And here's a brush right here. Look at this brush. This is a squirrel tail brush, and so I use these sometimes on the show. So here we go. So I'm just going to use a little clean water, and I'm just going to use this squirrel tail brush, and I'm just going to drop some water right into this painting. And unfortunately, I'm going to hold it up just for a second and see if we get there. See the sheen coming in right there from my light? I think you can see it if I turn it like that. There you go. Look. See if I can do this and just hold it like this. This is stuff. Don't do this at home, okay? Have you heard those TV commercials? Don't try this at home. He is he's a painter. All right, so there we go. So a little bit of this in here. See that? And so you can see the sheen on it. So I didn't fill up all the places with water. I just left some holidays, as I call them, with this. This is like a mop on a sucker stick. That's what it's like, but it's a great little brush, and they really sharpen up. They look like fuzz balls when you first open them up. Here's one right here. See, this looks like you could never paint with that, but then when you wet them, they tend to do what the bamboo brush does. So I'm going to take a little bit of this blue ink. Get ready now. This is the part that everybody kind of likes. Watch this. I wet that. I'm just going to drop a little of this drop in there and let it go. Look. You think you've seen watercolor run. Wait until you see ink take off. Is that cool? And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to break some into these areas that it couldn't break the lines. And the reason it didn't break those lines is because those were dry places on the paper. And so the water helps it travel, okay? I know I don't have to explain that to you because you put a boat in the water, guess what happens? That's what happens. All right, so I want a little bit of red in here. And you got to be careful with this stuff, especially if you're wearing a white shirt. I'm going to put a little bit right in here. And notice I didn't put any water up in here. But where I put some water here, I'm just going to touch it a little bit right in there. See what it's doing? It's just flowering out. It's mushrooming, as I call it. Now I'll probably go get a clean brush. I always work with clean brushes. I'm going to put a little bit of water right here. Now, I'm going to take this and dry some of that off just a little. I want to block right here. I want to block right there. And then I'm going to get some water right here. Okay? So I am doing a little surgery here with a paper towel and some water. because I wanted space between that blue. See if I can get the lid off the yellow. This is just ink. It's called Liquitex ink. It's not very expensive. It's kind of fun stuff to use. I'm going to put some right there and just let the green sort of mushroom out. In fact, I think I'll put some here and get some cool orange. Okay, see, I stopped some of that water flow, and that's why that one didn't take off as much. So this is what I do to play sometimes, where I'll just experiment with different colors and ideas and ink. And, you know, I'm in the art store, and I go, ink, I should buy some of that. And so I'll experiment a little bit and see what happens. All right, so, but guess what I'm not doing, folks? I am not filling in every little place here. I'm letting this breathe a little bit. I love the fact that I had a little bit of yellow in my brush, and I went right in to do the comb. And look, I'm using this fat brush that just gets toned down. Put some of this red right here on this yellow. Get some cool orange back here. Maybe a little bit of red or yellow in the tail to get a little more green. I need a little red. I could pick up some right here in the comb. You see me doing that? Yep. Get a little bit of brown coming in there just from that paint color. I think I want a splatter or two here. Let me just grab a brush and just tap some of this in there like that. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Now I'm going to grab some of this color right here. See this orange-yellow mix? I didn't mix it. I just poured the ink on here. I'm just going to grab some of this in my brush, roll my brush around, see? And then I'm going to go down here and do the legs in that, because that kind of looks like a good leg color to me. I think I need one more drop of red back here in the tail department, right in there. Maybe some splatters. Where's my brush? Need a little bit of green in the grass department. Let me grab some of that if I can and get in here. Whoops. See if I can get that green to wake up. Wake up. There we go. Look at that. A little yellow green. Might have to mix up a little more of that somewhere and get some of this blue come in. If I have to, I'll just open another little spot of this and put it in there and let it wake up a little bit, like right there. Woo-hoo-hoo! Look what's happening, that blue spot. Boy, put the lids on these things if you work with them. And they get stuck every now and then too. You grab some of this and go in. That'll get us some more green down there. There it is, coming in now. See that? Remember, I'm just using 3 colors here. I love to experiment with stuff like this. You get a feel for just how to really mix colors and learn that. And I learned this just by doing it, you know. No one said, okay, we're going to spend 6 weeks just mixing colors. That'd be great for my wife because she loves mixing colors. But me, I'm going like, give me the paper. I don't have 6 weeks to mix colors. Plus, I might have seen a rooster that looks just like this. As a matter of fact, I see one that looks like it right now in front of me, and I like him. All right, so there's what oil does. Now watch, if I just get some more water and bring water in here and drip on that water and then tip this up like this, watch what's going to happen. Can you see it? See all that rushing downhill? Look at these streams coming down right here. Cannot paint those. Cannot paint those with a brush, with a palette knife, or anything. It just happens. Sometimes people let your art happen. Okay? Now I'll come in with a 7. See there? Did it again. Pentel people. 7 and 5 should not be the same color. Come on. Have mercy on the artist. Because the Ruse crew are buying your pens. They're not a sponsor, Pentel, is it? Yet. You know what? I'm going to help some of you sell your art. In fact, I just woke up the other morning and I thought, I need to do a show, maybe the first of the year. I need to do a painting class. Oh, I called it a class right off the bat. I need to do a consultation time to say, hey, some of you have good works of art, small works. Let me show you how to market those. Let me show you how to pass some on to friends. Not that you want to stop giving away paintings, because you don't. Continue to give away paintings, but how to sell a few paintings to have a dinner out, or to buy your supplies. Wouldn't that be a great goal to have? I think so. Small, inexpensive originals. That's what you do. Not too many people that I live close to, and I live in Charlotte, so there are some here who have thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for original art. But people have $30 to $50 to $75 to $300 to pay for a piece of art. And so it's a good deal. It's original. They love it. They want it in their homes, and if they can connect to the artist. So I'm going to do a class on that if that's interesting to some of you. I can tell you how to do it. All right. Terry Tardy. Put a white strip of tape around your 07 so you can easily spot it. No. That would be the easy way, but it wouldn't be the cowboy way. The cowboy way was the company would just go, look, there's a 7 and there's a 5. 7, 5. See how easy those are to spot? I hear you, though. You are a problem solver and a creative person, but I want them to change just because I think it would be fun to change the company, okay? Hey. Builders just sent me a big old bag that I've put all this art stuff in. All right, so there's you an ink painting. Once again, this is just Liquitex ink. Unless you just want to play, I wouldn't let it be your normal painting. Some people are going to be listing it already saying, oh, I use ink all the time and I paint on Yupo paper and I paint on this. And yes, this is watercolor paper. If you painted on Yupo paper, we would have ink on everything right now because it's like pouring ink on a piece of glass. Yes, I've tried it. I've done it. And if you want to go, I think you should go for it. But at the same time, I have yet to sell a piece of Yupo paper with ink on it as a legitimate piece of work of art. But when I put it on watercolor paper, a couple things happen. That cotton fiber starts to grab the colors and it holds it a little more bold and light fast than it does when you put it on Yupo paper. Yupo paper is slicker than Bristol board. It's glass surfaced, okay? All right. I love that we get all the info and the stories. I don't know any other way to do it. If it wasn't for storytellers, dang, almost missed you this morning. Kathy, glad you made it in here. I'd love to try the ink. Okay, Margaret, get you some and just put a little drop in your coffee in the morning and you'll feel slicker all day. All right, Cowboy Way. By the way, Linda Allen, thank you. That's not my original saying. It wouldn't be the easy way. It'd be the cowboy way. That's Riders in the Sky. If you don't know who they are, they're fabulous guys. Let me show you who they are. Hold on one second here. See if I have them. I'm over here in my office, so just give me a minute. There they are right there. Signed to me, to Michael. That's before I was Roo. Riders in the Sky, Ranger Doug, Too Slim, and the king of the cowboy fiddlers, Woody Paul. These guys tore Nashville apart, and they're old as the hills now. But man, their cowboy music is absolutely unbelievable. Riders in the Sky, yippee-yi-hey, and away we go. It's Calvin the cowboy yell. I love those guys. But he would always say, why don't we just go out there and brand the cows? And he said, well, that'd be the easy way, but it wouldn't be the cowboy way. All right. So I love that. They sing. Yes, they sing. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Hey, I'm going to post this rooster today. I got to figure out what he's saying. Go ahead. Mess. Mess something up. I love it. That could be a rule right there. Go ahead and mess something up. Don't you love it? I think that's kind of funny. I'm going to grab a little bit of blue here, and I'm going to put a little sky splatter in here, just like this. I love it. And I think I'm going to grab a little bit of some of this green right here, maybe a little bit of brown over here. Just touch up some of this dirt. Now, here's what I love, though. See how this, I don't know if you can see this, but this is my favorite part right here. See this right here? how this starts to kind of just sit in the fibers, and it leaves a little water stain, like when you left your coffee cup on grandma's doily. Remember that? And she went, "Who left this coffee cup here?" You go, I don't know. It was there when I came in the room. You go, no, it wasn't. I love this, but on watercolor, I love that. And that's what's going to happen right here, because I'm going to take a little piece of this brown and put it right there. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and put it right here. And now I'm just putting some beauty spots on this Roo. All right, so I'm done with him now. I'm going to put him over here. I like his eye. I'm going to give him a little eyelash there. Give him a little nose hole in his beak. Maybe make some of these feathers a little looser just with dropping a pen in them. Doing some cuts down through here. Look, I'm still not sketching in like I'm writing tightly. I'm just having fun here, okay? So I want to encourage you to be creative, but I want to encourage you to make a mess sometimes too. I like this Roo. He's 9 by 12, so I'll post him today. He's a fun one for your studio to say, go ahead and mess something up. It really is fine, folks. Try not to mess up relationships, but as far as art and building projects, the only way you're going to learn is that if you get in there and put a couple screws in the wrong table leg. It happens sometimes. Okay, I'm putting him on the writer's poster and dropping him down there in the floor to go dry. Well, how are we doing time? 9:30. I got to get busy. Let me circle around a couple stories for you here just to finish where I started. A few months ago, golly, I've been doing this for a long time already. A few months ago, I talked about Jack Jacobs' Journey to the Sea, my brother's book, Charles G. Hahn. I call him Charlie. He's older than me. In fact, he and Noah were on the first boat together, I think. I don't think he's watching, so I can say that. But he wrote this book. It's a children's book. And so I said, I'm going to buy 2 today. And I finally got one in here. I've had it for a while, but it was buried at the art bar too. And he actually sent me a note. He said, hey, thanks for plugging my book and talking about it. And you can get this book on Amazon, I think for like $5 or something like that. And it certainly is worth more than that. I have some favorite stories in here. It's about a little boy named Jack Jacob and his friend Molly. And he takes a boat down Church Creek to the ocean. And his relationship with Molly is pretty special. It's just pretty awesome. And Molly decides to keep a journal and write the story for Jack. And Jack's kind of mad because Molly doesn't really write the truth. She has, listen to this, artistic license. Yeah, that's what you have. That's why you can just mess up something every now and then. You have artistic license. That's what people say, oh, I'm so sorry that you used that palette because I've never seen a rooster this color. I said, really? I guess you don't get out the farms much. See, I use humor to disarm all of that. And I just let that go by. I don't worry if people don't like my art or not, because what I've discovered is that my humor and my storytelling connects somewhere, someplace. And I'll go, that's a funky looking rooster. Do you know how I got this rooster? Some of you saw the post yesterday. I reached into my bag yesterday to pull out my little tin of paints, the colors that I use all the time. There they are right there. There's a little cup on the page. How'd that get there? That's funny. And so, and I pulled out this tin instead, and this is not even my palette. This is my daughter's palette. I mean, I don't even, there's a periwinkle, and there's a peach or a flesh tone and a different red and a different green, which I kind of like. I'm gonna find out what this green is. And so there's a black. She has 6 colors in here. This is what she does most of her, consider the lilies, her wildflower paintings with. So I just went, what the heck? So what the heck? Dad got into Mom's art box, and so I just painted it with this. And so there they are. And I kind of like it sometimes. And Belinda says you have that book. Thank you. I'm glad you do have this book. Well, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give this one away. Okay? So I'm going to give this one away to somebody on the show, and I'll just draw a name. And let me get a little brush here. Look at this. Breaking in a new one. Look at this. When these brushes are new, take a look. It'll stand up. Oh, you can't even see that. It'll stand up on its bristle. Once you wet it, look at this. Is that cool? Oh my gosh. I just love this. I love bamboo brushes. I love how long they are. I love, there's a lot I love. I love life, people. You know what? It sure beats the alternative of people running and yelling and fighting and whatever. Man, life's too short to act like a moron. All right. I'm wound up today. Can you tell it's Saturday? I got to figure out what color I want this boat, but I think it's an old boat. So I think I'm just going to kind of give it an old brown, grayish, ugly wash over it. Yeah, there we go. That's it. It's an old boat. And I don't want the boat to compete with the Roo. My brother wrote the book, but I'm painting it, so I get to at least make the rooster a little brighter. So there's the old boat right there. And the boat was stored in a shed back in, where's that brush that I pulled the top off of? And I put it back, I need it. Maybe I can paint it with this here this morning. All right, let's see if I can. So this is a tiny little brush. Here we go. Put a little Roo in this boat. My brother sent me a note and said, hey, thanks for buying one of my books to give away. I said, no problem. It's just what you do sometimes. And he said, well, if you're going to paint something in there, you should paint a rewboat. And I went, all right, dadgummit, I will. I'll paint a rewboat. So this is a rewboat. And then I put a silver dollar in there because I didn't just want it to be any Roo. I wanted it to be a George Washington Roo. So there it is right there. And painting in the covers of books is something I've gotten used to. I just sent out a dozen of them yesterday. Thank you guys for purchasing Hey Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow? So if you ordered a book this week, no, last week, or a week before that, because I had some that finally came in from the publisher, they are on their way. Now I got some more. I got a handful of hundreds, Roo 100 cards to do, and then I'm catching up. Put myself in a box sometimes by just doing crazy stuff. Put a little bit of rust down on this boat. Can you see what I'm doing here? It's kind of small, but I think you get an idea of what I'm doing. And I just need some lake water. Lake water is kind of a little green, and it's some blue. This is creek water, really. It's got some white gray in it. A little touch of blue here. I'm rinsing this brush out between each paint. There we go. So, and the boat's got a little bit of Payne's gray down on the inside. It's a little darker on the inside. See here. I don't do many paintings where I have to really get down and do detail. And I think the boat needs some detail, though. I think it needs this right here. I think it needs a couple of lines. Maybe there's a piece of rope hanging off like this. I wrote, enjoy this book. My brother has always been good at putting words together. This Roo has nothing to do with the story, just that we're both named Han. It means rooster. Roodoodles, Michael. So I did that before the show this morning. And so there you go. It's a rewboat, and it says it right there on the boat. I'm just going to draw a name from the list of people who are commenting this morning. And thanks for sharing my page. Thanks for liking this page. I love it when you hit the little likes and all those hearts and the thumbs up and all that stuff. What kind of bamboo brush did you buy? The kind I always buy, Margaret. It is it's a Cheap Joe's brush. I think you can get them other places. I just buy them from Cheap Joe's. It's a Yasutomo. Yasutomo. It's SW1. It's called an all-purpose brush. Not necessarily calligraphy, just calligraphy. And this would probably be an SW1. So it's a smaller version. But remember, this brush will bend and flow. Hey, there's the book I'm going to give away. I didn't mean to do that. That's a little too much. I got just a tad carried away with the splatters there. What the heck? It's too late now. Let's just do it. Let's just splatter the book and say, that guy's a nutcase. I'm going to give that away. There it is. Happy Saturday. All you people jumping in, like my page. Thank you for all the likes and sharing the shares. I'm going to draw a name today and send you Jack Jacob's Journey to the Sea by my brother. I'll send him a note and tell him, oops, he owes me big time. Sorry, I'm bending down here to put this there. Had to lay something on it so it wouldn't fold over on itself. All right. 20 till, I'm still rocking and rolling. Don't you love Saturdays? I notice you're using pens on wet art. I always thought it had to dry first. Missy Stillwell, see? Somebody probably told you that, but here's the thing. I'm glad you said that. I have several of these pens, and here's what I found out on wet art. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's find a piece of paper. There's my, is that cool? Make mine a builder's hat. Let me find a piece of paper here. You would think an artist would have paper on the art desk, wouldn't you? I got nothing. All right, here's a shrimp that I started. Let's just play this with this shrimp. Here we go. There he is. Here's a shrimp that I did with pen. I did him with, by the looks of him, a number 5. Looks like I had a little pencil sketch in there too, which I didn't think I did. Take note of what just happened there. You see that? Look, where I erased that, there was a little bit of water on this eraser. It already started to bleed. You see that? I'm going to come in just a little closer so you can see this. This is a good little demonstration here for 5 minutes. So, can you use a pen on wet watercolor? Here's the thing. You have to be careful with your wet watercolor paper because it will tear. Okay? You can tear watercolor paper, but I'm more careful than you think. Okay? I'm 6'5" and I weigh a whole bunch, but I got kind of a light touch. Remember, one of my rules is you should always sketch like an ice skater skates on thin ice. Expect a breakthrough. Okay? Because it'll happen. So you're always thinking, ooh, something could happen here. It could be good, it could be bad, but I got to be careful. All right. So in this case, I'm using a bigger brush than you would normally think for this, but I'm just going to grab my paint here. Since I've been painting with ink this morning, I haven't really wet these colors down very much. Just spray them with a little bit of water. Just a little dusting. This thing's very, very fine. I can't spray it like that because I got a camera sitting there. That's bad news. I'm going to move these over, put this here. I think you can see what I'm doing pretty easily. Let me make my, this will be hard to say. I'll make my head a little smaller. Sometimes I just paint out of this. Last night I painted at a restaurant out of this. In fact, here's what we'll do. Take a look at this and I'll get this set up. Last night Carol and I went out to eat at one of our favorite places. I want to show you what happened, and I painted a little something at the table, a small work, and I gave it to the waitress, sweet lady who was the definition of great hospitality, just fabulous. Okay, one of our favorite restaurants in Charlotte, and they're doing well. They're coming back strong, which I'm so excited for. So here we go, right here. Watch this little video. This is the restaurant that I went to. There's no name on here. I'll share the restaurant with you after you see the video. Here it comes. Boom. Is that cool? Is that cool? About 5 years ago, I went there one night with a little box of paper and my little Altoid box and one of my aqua pens and a couple small little brushes from Cheap Joe's. And I sit down at the table and I just started painting. And I think I was painting a little 6x6. Maybe they were even some 4x4 paintings then. And I just sketch them out real fast and just paint as fast as I could. And people would come up, and especially kids would come up, and they would say, "What are you doing?" And I'm going like, I'm just believing that I'm still in the 4th grade and I'm an artist. And so I would get into the stories, and the parents would come over and they go, "Oh my gosh, what are you painting?" And I'd go, "Well, have you seen that wall over there? It's covered with roosters. That whole wall is covered with mounted roosters." And so I would say, "I paint roosters. I don't paint any of those. Those don't need to be painted. They're beautiful just the way God made them. But I painted this one. Would you like to have it?" And so I gave away about 15 or 20 of my little paintings that night. And so Jim Noble, who owns the restaurant, and it's called Roosters, would invite us in. So we'd have a little bite of dinner, and then I'd just paint for a while. And it was really fun. And so people would go, "I can't believe you're giving your paintings away." And I go, What do you mean? The guy just fed me a delicious dinner last night. The meal is just off the chain. And last night I bought the dinner, but at the same time, I was sitting there and I had a little piece of paper that was about this size. In fact, it was exactly this size. You can't see that, can you? So some days I'll learn that I'm actually in charge of the production here too. A little piece of paper about this size. And so I just painted a quick little roo on it, and I pulled out my paint in the back pocket there. I left my bail-out bag, my bug-out bag in the car, but I had my paints and my little brush. I had a little water brush, a little aqua brush. Aqua brushes are fun when you're at the table and you don't have to ask for water. Here's a little aqua brush. Irma sent me this one, but this is what I usually use, a little pentel brush like this. Has water in the handle, and you literally just reach in, get some color, mix it together, and then you just start painting like this. And then you use a napkin. So I did get up and I walked to the bar and I said, "Can I get I put my mask back on. I said, "Can I get a paper napkin?" He said, "Oh yeah." So she was nice enough to hand me one. We were sitting in a little bar area. And anyway, I finished it up. So in the process, we were leaving. It was a click on this app and put your card in and pay yourself because it's a no-touch deal. And so I paid, and she said, "Thank you so much." I said, "No, thank you." And I handed it to her. The guy sitting there said, "What did he just give you?" And she said, "He just gave me an original paint." And she was holding it like this. And I said, "Oh, it's still wet." And she held it home. And he goes, "What do you mean it's still wet?" And I said, "I just painted." And he said, "You got paint in your pocket?" And I go, "As a matter of fact, sir, I do." And he goes, "Oh, I need one of those." He said, "I paint birds." So that stopped us. And we had a conversation with two people from Ireland, or who used to have been in Ireland, Irishmen, I should say. They come and go there. They're both musicians. He's a left-handed bird painter. So I gave him a little card, scribbled a rooster on it, didn't paint it. And anyway, you get out and you connect. So there we are talking through our mask, but having a wonderful time. So my point is pens. I had a pen with me. I had a brush with me. I had my paints with me. And I wound up painting this rooster, and which has nothing to do with this shrimp right now that I'm painting. But I think you get the idea of what I did. So here was my question. You see, you didn't think I was going to get back to it, did you? But I'm going to. The question was, I didn't think you could use pen on wet ink. You know what? It either works or it doesn't. And so if it doesn't work, then stop and get another one. Will it clog some up? Yes, but I have 2 or 3. So if I just wipe it off and let it dry, I'll get another one and go into it again. So there's always ways to do workarounds. All right, it just is like that. To clean out this brush, you just squeeze the tube a little bit until it's clean. Never put a dirty brush back into your good paint, people. Don't do that. Okay, at the end of the day, you're just going to have mud pie and you're going to be so sad. You're going to go, "Wow, I paid a lot of money for these good paints and I've just messed them all up by me getting in a hurry." And I am in a hurry. This is how I paint. I paint like this to be loose. Sometimes I actually dip this in the water over there too, and I don't use as much water in the handle. You understand when I say water in the handle? This unscrews, and you put water in here. It screws back in, and this is the most frustrating thing because it's a left-handed thread. And I think these are not cheap. This one's actually made by Sakura. That Pentel makes some too, and I'm a Pentel fan, as you know already. I will be when they change my pens. All right, so there's a little shrimp. So let me show you what I can do now. This was the question. I can come in with a fountain pen, and I can come in, and even on this wet ink, I can go in and start to do marks like this. Look, and what happens when I put a fountain pen into wet paint? It tends to bleed a little bit. Let me show you that even more. Watch, let me just put a little extra water right there and there and there and there, and watch what happens. I put this in here, it starts to bleed. See that? It loosens up. Will it stop the ink? Probably not with the water. It will if you get paint gummed up in it. But I like this look of having this work this way. So I do all sorts of things. For the sake of a pen sometimes, I might even take my pen, this is a 7, and go in and just stick the pen in the paint sometimes and just get a little bit of a pigment on it. Like if I wanted a little red right here, so I paint with the end of the ink pen too. I'm very unconventional like that, okay? It's okay to mess something up. But look what I'm getting here. Where am I going to get a little brush that does that? Where am I going to get a little brush that drags red down like that? nowhere. And then I can take this, just clean it off, dip it in the water, let it dry, put it over there in the wet pile, grab another one from over here. So that's why I have a couple more on the deck sometimes. I like these roosters, or these, I don't even know what I'm painting. This is a shrimp doodle. I like these things sometimes to have back in here a little bit of darkness to them. It shows for shadows. This is speedball ink. So watch what happens with it. Look, see it? It's doing exactly what the other ink did. It's running. Look right here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Just practice, just play. Did I say practice? That was a slip of the tongue. It's quiet when I start talking, huh? Because I say this often. I'm the only guy in the room. All right, there's a little shrimp there. How do I finish shrimp? Just like this. The 857 folks have been finishing some shrimp lately. They've been doing a great job with them. My painting class. Hey, by the way, the October class is still available. Here it is, right here. There it is. Roodoodles 857. If you go to rewboat.com, you can see a sign up for the October class and still sign up for that class. It'll be a continuation of this one, but we always do some of the similar things. So have some fun if you want to paint with me, and that'll be on Wednesdays at 8:57. All the information is there. What's it cost? $8.57 per session, or $34.28 a month. Figured that out all on my own because I went to Bluegrass Elementary in Knoxville, Tennessee. And by the way, I've got the class painting 857. That means add it all up. 20 minutes a day will change you if you want to learn how to paint. Oh, I can't paint. I don't know how. There's a good shrimp right there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to change that before the end of the show. I'm going to lay him right here and come back to him in a minute. Okay? Got to show you one more thing. Busy day, right? Never thought about using the point of a pen in the watercolor. Don't you love that? Boom. Learn something new every day. Or if it's a big something, if it's like welding or stained glass or blowing glass or quilting or making a quilt, or if it's a project like that, learn one or two things a year. But if it's something small like that, set yourself up to learn something new every day. Hey, folks, if you're not learning, you're dead. Did he just say that? Yes, he did. Who does he think he is? What's the name of the restaurant? The restaurant is called Roosters Wood-Fired Grill. Jim is from North Carolina, but trained in France. He has Jim Noble. So just Google Jim Noble in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. Gosh, what a great, great man. And I'm going to use the word great. He takes people who have been incarcerated. He puts them into his businesses. He has a bakery where he trains people, gives them jobs. This guy, honestly, he has a kitchen downtown that's called King's Kitchen. It took some abuse during some of the riots. People threw bricks and things through the windows and they have no idea. Every day he would feed homeless there, and he would actually open up to a Bible study if anybody wanted to come in that he would teach in the afternoons. This dude has done a lot for this city. He has a barbecue. He has a chicken sandwich place called Beulah's. That was his grandmother, and she knocked it out, cast iron fried. Okay, you want to come to Charlotte, all right? So, yeah, the restaurant's called Roosters. You see all those roosters in there? All right. See, now some of you, Denise is going, aha, these Energel pens. I'm telling you, Pentel, you're not a sponsor, but yet. Okay, here we go. Let me get these inks out of the way, because if I don't, excuse me for reaching across here. Let me get this out of the way. October class is available if you'd like to sign up. And I got to tell you something else while I'm into sales. Look at this. This is happening. The Roodoodle mugs are out there, and there's a few left on the first batch that went through. I sold most of them out Wednesday. They took off like crazy. They haven't been shipped yet, but they're getting boxed and bubble wrapped, and they'll be coming to you. The bags have sold out, and I'll be reprinting those probably in late October or before November. But the mug is available right now at rewdoodles.com. You can get the mug. and I'm working on something fun. You see these things pop up every now and then on my page? See that? This is something that I said and always constantly say. People say, what kind of pens do you like? And I say, I don't like a pen that writes faster than I think. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes you'll get a ballpoint pen, and I wish I had one here. You'll just get a ball. I don't really like ballpoints, but I don't keep ballpoints. In fact, most of the pens that I use are either felt or needle or fountain pens because they drag on the paper. Sometimes you'll get a slick piece of paper and you'll start to write your name and the pen will just take off like this. You go, whoa, where's that going? But on a fountain pen, you can stop and you can say, Roo. You can do this. You can sketch with the fountain pen. You can, that's a medium tip. When I get a fine tip, I really can sketch with the fountain pen. With the needle pen, they drag a little bit. I feel the weight of that, and so it makes me want to sketch lighter and be careful when I put the ink on the page. So Pat Brooks did this piece for me right here, and she's done several of the things that I've done on the show, and we're going to compile those together. And I'm going to write some pieces on the left-hand side of this little booklet that says why I came up with that rule, or where that rule came from, or where I learned that, or who taught that to me, or why I started saying it in the first place. And so those are going to be available to you soon. Can you see that right there? That's one of them. That's a rule right there. We don't know what we're going to call it yet, but we're working on it. So Pat is on this show. She's a dear friend now who's become a dear friend that we've never met personally. We'll do that after the first of the year. When COVID's done, we'll make a trip to sit down together and say, look what we've been working on online. We're collaborating. And I've always wanted to do that with another artist. And most of the time I'm blacksmithing art and doing metal art. And so anyway, all right. So that book's going to be out. I'd love to have it out before Christmas. I don't know if we can do it. Can't see that, you're saying? Okay, not sure what went wrong, but it looks good on my end. I've got everything up and running. So it's covering your work. Oh, well, yes, it is, but there's nothing on the page. Oh, I see. Yeah, I know what you were talking about. Sorry. I was doing a commercial for me. All right. Hey, you remember these books I bought in Abingdon, Virginia? Well, actually, I didn't buy them. I had them on the counter to buy. I had these two on the counter to purchase. And then, and Missy, I hope I answered your question about pens. So I'm picking on you. Not really picking on you, but it's a great question. I wanted to bring it out. And so, yeah, I got you folks. I had my billing up there for the October class. So thank you for letting me just put that up there and do. Hey, look, I do this now as part of my business. So, because I spend so many hours putting together videos and all. So you have to hawk your wares a little bit, just like I do to Builder's Tea. All right. I was getting ready to buy two of these, and my wife wound up buying a bamboo hall tree, although we put it in the kitchen and not the hall. So it's beyond me how that works, but I don't know about design. So I just know about watercolor and metal and music and old trucks and children and watermelon wine. Tom T. Hall wrote that song. And she said, what are you going to do with those? I said, I think I'm going to paint roosters in this one. She said, oh my gosh, really? I mean, look at it. You can see my thumb, right? That's how big the book is. She said, oh, there's a story to those. And then I told the story last week. And then I think I told it Monday. And then, so a lot has happened between Monday and then. So I bought another one. She said, what are you going to do with that one? I said, I think I'm going to write a poem in this one. She goes, who are you? And I said, I'm just a crazy man who sometimes will find other time instead of watch TV. And I can't go trout fishing right now. So I think I'll just piddle with art. And she said, oh, that's quite a story. And I said, okay. So then I just stopped and said, tell me the story. So she tells me the story about the auction and buying what she thought was books to go on her shelf and sell, leather-bound books. They were small books, but she didn't know they were this small, that a silver dollar would cover one. And so I said, oh my gosh, that is a funny story. I said, I'm going to buy another one now and I'm going to write your story in a book. She says, no, I'm giving these to you. And I said, well, you give me these two. You give them all three. I'm going to send this one back to you with your story. So I've written her story, and I'm going to share it with you. Here it is right here. Ready? All right, here we go. Brittany, good to have you back. Here we go. Missy said, oh, yeah, Missy, famous If I were famous, that and $1.50 would get you a cup of coffee. Okay. Well, cheaper than that at Climbs Roast. My friend Chip Fur. Which coffee is going to be coming soon, so you can find it to go in your room mug. We're going to put it on the site, and we're calling it Baroo, B-R-O-O, coffee worth crowing about. Chip and Cheery let me come into Climbs Roast, and they let me shoot a video there and watch the process of roasting. And I'm telling you what, he can roast coffee on one day, package it up, and have it shipped to you. And so, so you can get Climbs Roast. It's coffee with a cause. climbsroast.com.org. Sorry, it's not in front of me, Chip. Either one will get you there right today. All right, so I'm going to read you this and I'm going to quit today. Ready? So here's what it is. So here's what I did. Listen to this. No, I'm going to read it first and I'll tell you. Let me stop this. All right, here we go. This is the book. This is the poem. You ready? I'm painting an old truck, Renee says. Paint a rooster on the side of that truck. That'd be great. Oh, this book is tiny. Of all the little books, of all the things in this shop, they'll get a lot of looks. But it's not what I thought, not even what I wished, not what I sought or expected, or even what I dished out. Whew. It's an auction, one for all time. Old leather-bound books, maybe drama, maybe history, maybe even rhymes. I suppose, well, I know I didn't read the fine print, but I thought it was fine. So I signed up, got my number to place my bid online. The opening was higher than I expected. But good leather books cannot be neglected. So I paid close attention and I had a plan. I dreamed a tiny bit of holding leather in my hand. I could almost see them lining my shelves. Friends coming by to purchase and peruse. I know this business. I know my market. I've long since paid my dues. Once again, the bidding rose and I was aware of my limit. Style trumps a few dollars here and there. There's always a way to trim it. I mean, leather books, antique books, filled with history and maybe even exotic words. Now the bid was over my mark. This purchase was nearing absurd. But I love leather books, their size and mystique, and people will shop and they'll feel the tug. I burst through the concerns and I hit the key to up my bid. I didn't yet know of the rub. Then as the gavel fell, I paced around proud. A score, a gratification. I went to bed with a smile. The delivery was set. Excited I was. Leather books have their own kind of style. The arrival was surprising, the packing box quite light. Still not aware that everything simply was not right, but the price and the product were not matching my serious, somber tune. Of all the 90 miniature leather books collection, the largest one could rest on the bowl of a spoon. Spoon. I need more sugar in my coffee, more coffee in my blood. I needed to trade that early celebration parade for a saddened sitting down. I dug through the delivery, but no bigger books could be found. I went back to the fine print, and there the statement stood. Miniature leather, tiny, tiny, tiny books. You better read this good. What? They are tiny, tiny, dollhouse size. Some artist has captured a fool. But I bid the bid, I upped my ante, I leaped into the pool. Time is a healer. And now I think I love them. The lesson and the story. See, life is short and there's no place for rage. And I can share this tale with others. Just a word or two upon each page. By now I've sold some to poets and painters and collectors, and I gave 3 to Roo, but I'll never recoup my cost. But then you listened, and you will share the story. So when you can tell a story, there's never really a loss. So pull up a chair. I have a tiny tale to tell you, and everything in life passes. And here, you might need these. See, did I tell you now I've started selling reading glasses? Magnified and fashionable good reading is good money spent. Try these optics at 2.25. This is a tiny book with even tinier print inside. Michael Hahn. So there's the poem. I have figured out that there are 157 pages in this book. That's all the pages that I want to keep. I want to keep 100, and I think I have 155, And I've got 599 words in my story, so it's going to take 3.9 words per page is the way I figured it. So I'm going to write this in here. And I'm going to send it to Karen, who owns the Fox and the Glove in Abingdon, Virginia, so she can tell her story with this. And honestly, she just that day opened the box and showed us the new readers that she's starting to sell. And so I said, I'm going to write you a book. So if it turns out to be a mess, that's perfectly okay. All right. If it doesn't, then it's going to turn out well, and she's going to love it. So here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. It's a pen on top of wet watercolor, still damp. Yep, there it is. I just wiped it off on my hand. Look at this. This is one of my favorite paintings to do. All right, this one's getting a little dirty, so I have to clean it off a little bit. Bad tattoo. Shrimp with grits tattooed on the side. That's one of my favorite paintings. Okay, hey, I'm going to post this painting. I'm going to give the book away. Oh, I'm sorry, I just kicked my camera. I was trying to reach over here and do too many things at once because I'm running out of time. Go ahead and mess something up. I'll post this today. And I've got a bag full of things that before the weekend's over, I'll probably post. There's this many paintings in here. Look at this. Some of them are, this one probably will not post. That was an apron, excuse me, not an apron. It's going to be an apron. I'm going to do some aprons, I think, around this year. Some tea towels. There's another shrimp. There's a bee. There's some coffee. This was sold, but the person didn't want it. There's something that didn't sell the other day. There's that. There's 2B or 5Bs. There's shrimp boats coming. There's top of the morning. There's another shrimp boats here. Painted that on the show just for a demo. No more chocolate popcorn. Here's a fascinator from the Kentucky Derby. There's another one. Here's one that's not finished. It says, let me get this straight. Pull that lever over easy. Okay. This it sold, and then the person changed their mind. Maybe I was just a tad gruff. This one doesn't go. It's a Hoover's coloring book. What a shot that was. There's a dragonfly. So these are all going to be posted, and probably just a medium price. Watch out for the thin ice. Hey, that's not a camel spin. It's more like a correct cantilever. 2's all he gets. There's a bee. I painted this when I was heading to 100 shows. There's an opening video for one of the shows. Get ready to bumble. And here's one too. Where have you peoples been? So there's those two. Here's Saturday morning. This one I'm keeping. That's from Pat. This is Rue and the Ruse Crew. I love her art. Thank you so much. That's Terry Tardy's art there. I love that too. All right. Okay, so there you go. There's a stack that are going to come to you today or maybe tomorrow over the weekend. A few bucks for an original if you want to own one and you pay the postage. I'll put them at, seriously, I'm going to put them at 10 or 15 bucks plus the postage. Okay, they just need to go, and I don't want to throw them away. Some of them are really fun, and you could frame them and have some fun with them. Okay, so all right, so I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. And I used to have a harmonica that I would blow at the end of these shows. Here it is right here. It's a little cowboy thing that I just love. Keep going. Thanks for giving me some time on your Saturday morning. And I'm going to draw a name shortly. And I will tell somebody via this, thank you for loving my show. Man, I just love to see those hearts roll up there. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for sharing my show. It helps me on a Facebook presence. And it helps them kind of keep an eye on what I'm doing. And then it helps me have more time to get to you guys. So cups are on sale at rewdoodles.com. October show. Next week, I got to tell you about my November, something I'm going to do in November. I think you're going to love it. In fact, I want to give you a sneak if I can. I'm running over time here, but it's my time. I can do that. I think it's right here. I'm going to do a short show. I'm going to do 2 weeks, 4 shows, 4 classes in November, but probably a Monday, Friday. And it's going to be all about Christmas ruse. And so I'm going to show you how to paint little peeps and Christmas stories and things you can give away at Christmas. And some of those are my favorite stories. So I'm going to do that in November. So I'll get ready to do that. I got to go. I got to make some more tea.